I am Hishaam from the world famous Cosby Kids Creative Agency. It's okay to say world famous though, right?
I'm Qhawe, coming from the Cosby Kids Creative Agency.
Hishaam's involvement in the Cosby Kids Creative Agency. Co-founder, writer, producer, maybe director soon. Well, it's basically everything I just said, but just put a co in front of it, basically. It's me and Qhawe. We split the work 50-50. That's basically my contribution. Man, the early days, wow. I started off in a crew with a homie of mine, Mr. Weatherspoon. We formed a crew called The Artificial Elements. Yeah, man, we were just a rap duo performing wherever there was a place to perform. So we started that, I think that was in about 2001 or 2002. Yeah, and then we rolled with that for quite a few years. After I branched out and I decided to do my own thing, I was just trying to find different ways to express my ideas. So I basically stumbled upon this concept of it basically started with this joke from Joe Rogan. He has this joke where he says, apparently we are 95% of our DNA is shared with chimpanzees or apes, right? And only 5% basically separates us from the apes. So it kind of came to me that, you know what, like, so what really does separate us from apes? And then the concept started to roll from there. I hooked up with Warren Peterson from Black Concepts at the time, and we came up with this idea of we're going to put out a line of tees and caps that will go with some of the music that I've been putting out at the time.
It hides behind an open crease, hoping no one sees, but broken it proceeds. And this is all I've ever waited for, a world where no one has to pray no more.
Since my breakaway into a solo, I did a couple of projects. I started working with Hammer while I was in PE before I actually moved to Joburg. And we did one or two things together, but it didn't necessarily go into anything bigger than that. And then eventually I decided to just move over to Joburg. And then after I moved to Joburg, we hooked up, we recorded a few songs together, we shot a video together. Another project that I got involved with was The Marksman. So The Marksman is myself and Shaik. So we decided at some point that, you know what, since we hang out so much together and we have a mutual respect for each other as lyricists, we decided, why don't we just go head to head, to combine our powers, so to speak. And yeah, and the Marksman project was born. So thankfully we had a guy like Definition Barak from Sweden who lent his production as a contribution to the project. And we recorded a short EP together. I put out a couple of songs, one being a song called God Complex, which was a song I actually did with a producer from Cape Town, Johnny Filter. I put out the song called Trying to Get Paid, and I put out a song called Eagle Eggs, both of which were sort of a precursor to project that I'm gonna put out under the Cosby Kids.
But we all broke. Back of the bus, I'm being hope. Master your language, leave no notes. Work and cash, yeah, we're no joke. Time to reflect, I'm not myself.
I am Qhawe Gazivelem is my full name. I go by Qhawe the Cosby Kid. I am part of a group called the Cosby Kids Creative Agency in collaboration with Hishaam. And as part of the agency, we are just basically trying to establish a collective of people who are like-minded creatively. We'll start with the both of us. We make music, we produce beats, and we just want to grow this agency of ours. What the Cosby Kids Creative Agency is, at the moment, we're starting from the bottom, right? So we want to create our own music. From producing the music, to putting out the videos, to marketing. We want to be able to establish a base where we don't need any outside parties in order to make our dreams a reality, in order to make our own money. We want to be able to do that ourselves. And in this basis, we want to be able to have people come in and contribute. And also in contributing, we help them as they help us. At the moment, I'm singing. I do some editing on the beats. Hishaam is predominantly the beat maker at the moment, but everything we do is we collaborate on everything that we do. My background is production and television, so once it comes to it, when we do the videos, we'll both be directing, we'll both be shooting the videos with the help of other people, but it'll be a Cosby Kids Creative Agency project. I started working professionally with Poetic Soul, who's got a show on Bay FM at the moment. She's a poet, beautiful poet, and she used to hold her poetry sessions at the barn. And she used to ask me to sing backup for her when she, some of her poems need to have some vocalist in the background. I used to do that. That's basically kind of where I started singing publicly, and then it spiraled into collaborations with people like Psychotic. I did collaboration with, I think one of my first hip-hop collaborations was with Kashan. I met Hishaam in varsity as well. He was still a very strong and good rapper then, and I did some vocals for him as well. And years later, and we're still working together.
I am not against violence, but I believe the right mind can see just when the right time is. Now we ain't racist till black guys' faces they pull up.
When it comes to collaborating with a hip-hop artist, sometimes you'll find that the beats, as great as they are, I'll find that there's not a place for me to sing here, So when I talk about editing beats, I don't necessarily mean I'll start a beat from scratch and then we'll both be on it. Like, I will chop it up on the program that we use and ask him to insert certain things here because it'll work best for my voice in certain cases. So that's what I mean when I say editing beats. But a lot of really good songs, like we will say it right now, they're really good songs, and people must just be very open-minded about it. It's very hard to put your music into a category because people must just experience it the way they want to experience it and call it whatever they want to call it, And I don't want to box it and make it into something it's not. So the music is great. It's different. It's very soothing, and it's very there's a lot of great messages to it. If you're feeling good, you feel in love, you can listen to it. If you feel like, I don't know, man, it's really good music, and I hope people will receive it very well and take the time to listen. If you do it yourself and you know how to do it good and you want to do it good, you will make it happen. From myself, aside from the agency, at the moment I'm not releasing anything. I would like to just establish the agency, and after that I think people will be more familiar with my sound and my voice and my tone, and then after that I will release a couple of obviously songs just out there, but I haven't planned for a specific project, but I do have songs that I would definitely love to release.
We'll have to ask the Sergeant at Arms to take out members who are not serious about this sitting.
Yes, there is a project coming. The name of the project is called Cult. We don't have a date for it yet, but we're on our way to finishing it. That's as much as we can say for now, is that we're on our way to finishing the project. It's about, a 15-track project, I think. And yeah, in terms of collaborations, we actually, for this, it was really done in isolation. So it's basically just us on the project. In terms of collaborations, we have one production collaboration We worked with a brother from the Bay. His name is Qhawe. Yeah, that's the homie right there. We made a crazy dope song on one of his beats. But for the most part, I've been producing most of the songs. Struggling in terms of hip hop specifically, compared to our neighboring cities like Durban and Cape Town. One of the most obvious answers, I think, would be money. Money is a huge motivator, and money in different kinds of contexts as well. Is money within the hip hop industry in the Eastern Cape, money in terms of ways to get things done, and also money in the sense of the want of money. I think that the surrounding factors, things like branding, things like marketing, all those things, I think they're the most important part of our work. I mean, we'll go in and we will record a project, a single, whatever. But unfortunately, the difficulty here in the Eastern Cape is that just to record that project, that's the hugest struggle. It's the hugest struggle because of infrastructure, and we can't get this and we can't record, and it costs too much to go there and whatever. So usually it's so difficult to get things done that when you finally finish your project, you feel like that's the process done. But unfortunately, the truth is, when you step outside, is that's when the work has to start, because now you have your product, right? And if I'm not a salesman, but I understand that once you can't sell anything unless you have something.
See these J's, these ain't J's. 40 hours a week, reason we ain't paid. So I'm confronting my demons with a beat.
Peace. This is the Cosby Kids, and you can find us on www.soundcloud.com/the Cosby Kids Creative Agency.
And you can find us on facebook.com, the Cosby Kids Creative Agency.
Yeah, and shout outs to blacksmithed.com.
Blacksmith.
Yeah,
Blacksmith.com.
Blacksmithed.com. I'm gonna say that. I keep saying it.
Blacksmith.com, y'all.
Limited resource, you can heat it up and use it to exfoliate your pores. I have mastered nothing more than knowing battles from my war. Shout out to existentialism, you have helped me grow.